This I Believe by Liliana Gutierrez. I believe in the love of a mother and a daughter when it is expressed in a kind, loving, and supportive way. It can be wonderful. When it is expressed in an anger, unloving, and selfish way, it can be damaging. My mother, Rosie, had a tough childhood. When her mother was pregnant, she caught her husband cheating on her with another woman. He looked at her and laughed, and so did the woman he was with. As Rosie grew older, her mother refused to breastfeed her or even raise her as a daughter. My aunt had to take care of Rosie for years. When Rosie turned 7, she moved back with her mother, and she would send Rosie to sell homemade tamales in all the houses she could find. If Rosie didn't come back with everything sold, her mother would leave her without anything to eat and hit her until she wet her pants. Rosie also had to take care of all her brothers and sisters. At the end of the day, Rosie was so hungry, she had to sneak to the kitchen and drink the milk that her brothers left. When she was 15, Rosie could not take it anymore, and she left her mother's house and moved back with her aunts. Soon after, she met her first husband and married him. They had my oldest brother, Omar. Rosie thought that was the best decision she could have made. She wanted to feel the love of someone. She thought that getting married was the best way to be loved. But that was not her case. Her husband would often hit her and make her feel like she was not worth anything. Later, she was pregnant again, but her pregnancy got difficult, and she lost a little girl. She was all alone because her mother didn't want to know anything about her, and her husband would always hit her. All she had in life was my brother. When Rosie got out of the hospital, she went looking for Omar, but her husband refused to let her see him. She did not know what to do. Back then, life was so poor, and the police didn't do anything at all for women. Even if Rosie wanted to do something, she had no job and no money. She was still weak from her miscarriage. She asked her sisters for help, and they kidnapped Omar. My mom was so scared of getting caught that she went with my aunts to California. Back then, it wasn't so hard to cross the border. When my mom got to California, she found a job and worked really hard to maintain my brother and herself. She started working as a waitress, and there she met a fabulous man, my father. 8 years later, they had me. As I grew older, my mom cared for me like no mother ever did for a daughter. She loved me and always made sure I was okay, and I felt her love. When I turned 15, she started telling me about her life and what she went through as a child. I supported her and was there by her side, giving her the love her mother never did. When I turned 16, my mom received a phone call saying her mother got run over by an 18-wheeler. It was horrible for her to receive that news. I was there by her side the whole time. She would wake up in the middle of the night crying, asking, "Why did my mother treat me this way?" It wasn't my mother's fault. She was abused. When I turned 18, I changed. I'm not sure why. I was stubborn and forgot how much she needed me and how my love meant everything to her. I drifted away from her and worried about high school and my boyfriend and left her aside. I made her become really strict with me. She would yell at me for no reason at times. I would ignore her and tell her I wish I had another mother. She would cry and tell me, "Well, this is the mother God chose for you, so you have to deal with it." I was so mean to her, and I told her things I regret till this day. A month later, my father told me the doctor detected cancer on her. I fell to the floor in tears, and I felt so bad. All this time, I was being such a horrible daughter. My mom knew she had cancer, but had never told us. I ran towards her and I begged her to forgive me. I held her very tight and said with tears in my eyes, "Mama, I believe in the love of a mother and a daughter. I love you, and no matter what you went through in the past and what you're going through now, I will be there for you from now on, no matter what. I will be the mother that your mother never was for you." When I said those words to her, she gave me a kiss, and she said, "Thank you, my little Lily." Even though my mother never had a role model, she is a fabulous woman. Now I know that my mother has to be valued no matter what. She is a gift from God. One day, He gave me the gift of having a mother. He can easily take her away just like that. I strongly believe the love of a mother and a daughter is one of the most important things in my life. This I believe.